I'm going to show you guys how to simply and effectively quick fix your dings on the hood, or I'm just going to use the hood as an example. See, there's a bunch of like a hail damage, and some of them you can see, some of them you can't. So what I'm going to grab, I grab a DA with like 180 paper, and I'm just going to go over the whole hood, and you make sure to hold the DA flat. It'll basically show you all the dents. Like for example, look at this one. You can't really see it, right? Here it is. See? And it basically shows you where your dents are. Once we DA the whole hood, you'll see every single dent. And I'll show you the next step what to do. I got the whole hood sanded. Now we can use the blowgun, but if you don't want to make it too much dust everywhere, if you're doing it in your garage or home or whatever, I'm just going to use the pricking needle, spray this down, wipe it off, and you're going to be able to see all the dents. And then we're going to send the individual holes with like the 80 degree paper, just so it's nice and rough, and then start applying body filler. Right. This will be nice. Now you can see all of them. Jeez, there's a lot of. I made a mistake. I picked this thing up in the salvage yard when it was really cold. It was getting dark, and it was literally snow. I glanced at the hood. Everything looks nice. Once I bring it back to the garage, well, it wasn't as nice, obviously. So, gotta do extra work. We got properly sanded and cleaned. You can see there's quite a few of these dents from hail. So now I'm just gonna grab a small piece of 80 paper and start sanding these dents. Grab the paper. You don't want to scratch the whole entire surface, just wherever you put the filler. There's bigger dents, smaller dents. You gotta hit them all. There's one more. Here's another one. We can go make some filler and there's a little one right there. There's a big one right there. Another one. Another one. There's more. Here's one more. And one more. Let's go apply body filler now. Alright, let's blow this off. Alright, let's go with some body filler. Let's mix some body filler and good to go. Try to stay small. And try to leave some bundle in the middle where the hole was, not to take all of it off. There you go. But don't put too much, then you got more sanding. Try to look from the angle if there's still indentation. It's hard to see. There's another dent. Alright, the idea is grab a block. I've been using DA, but I've been doing this for a long time. You cannot press too hard because the hood, unfortunately, is, usually they're really soft. So if you press too hard, you'll dig the holes out. So grab a block, put it down, and then you sand it each way. And then this way, their way, until you get everything taken off. And always check it with your hand. Put your hand flat. If you don't feel it, you can either use the glove or put a piece of paper towel and put your hand on top of it, and then you can feel it, whether there's a dent or you got too much bundle. It's time consuming, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Go. Nice and smooth. There's gonna be one more step after this. We're gonna use like a 220 paper to get rid of all the scratches, because the primer will cover it, but the scratches will come back. And eventually, when the bundle cures and the primer cures, the scratches will come out, usually all in the surroundings, and it looks pretty bad. So you gotta make sure to sand it nice. A few more dents to go. If you decide you want to use the DA, the orbital sander, make sure do not press it. So you use two hands or one hand and then hold it flat. And try not to go too fast because it will warm up the hood and you might warp it. So you want to go low RPM. You can pretty much see right here, it's nice and smooth, and right here you can still see and feel that there's a hard edge. So you got to keep on sanding until you get it nice and smooth, like like on this side. Looks pretty good. Let's do like a little checking by touch. That looks good. On to the next dent. And I went over with my hand over the hood, and I find out that there's still a little indentation. Sometimes you can do it first, smear with the bando, and it then goes away. Sometimes, unfortunately, you have to do it twice or three times until you get it. As you can see, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dents. They're still kind of had a little low spot, so I have to put filler one more time. But it all depends on the dent and if you sand hard or not. I like to do a DA because it's quicker, but to tell you, it might take you another hour, half an hour extra. If you use the block and you go by hand, you 100%, you gotta get it done better. Especially when you're just starting and learning. So let's wait till it's dry, give it one more sand and see how it looks. And if it looks good, we're gonna move on to put a paper 220 or 320 on your DA and just kind of go over the whole hood so we can get it ready for primer. I like to use simple primer. This is kind of cheap, Durabuild, but it dries very quickly. You know, this is like a lacquer primer. But if you prep your stuff good and you have no scratches on your bodywork, then believe me, this primer works great. You don't have to use no 2K or 4-to-1. This will do just good, as long as everything is prepped nice and you have the finish for primer for at least 220. 120 is a little bit too rough. So usually what I do, like I showed you earlier, I just DA the whole hood down with 360 or 320. You know, 220, it may work if you're using the 4-to-1 primer before. Quick job, I'm trying to paint this in about half an hour. Use the cheaper primer to cover as well, as long as your bodywork is straight and you don't have any scratches in your body filler, the primer will just do great. What I'm gonna cover the edges because I got this hood nicely edged and I don't want to get any overspray or anything. And since it's still fresh, I'm gonna put tape over like your pans or cloth just so you can get the tape be not so sticky. You can't really see it, but it makes it not as sticky as when you take it off the roll. And then I'm gonna apply this all around all the way. That way when I'm spraying primer, I'm not gonna get all this thing paint underneath. I'm gonna do the same exactly thing when I'm painting. One last thing to do before the primer is to use the degreaser or pre-cleaner, however you want to call this. I call it pre-cleaner, but some people call it degreaser, so here's what we're gonna do. Spray the hood. And just nicely wipe this off. It's pretty clean for the most part, because I already cleaned it a few times. All right, perfect. Here we are, finished product. It's primer ready to paint. Now we're gonna start wet sanding.